copy it down first, and then we'll go over a few of them. Let me start with number 2 because that will be I'll show you why in a minute. Yeah, I can't find. Okay. So remember our phrase, so ka toa. Sokotoa. Sokotoa. We want to label. First thing we're going to do is label across from the angle. We're going to have our opposite. Here's the hypotenuse, the slanted one, and there's the adjacent. The ones that we are given to use would be an opposite and the hypotenuse. We're not given the adjacent. So the one that has an O and an H would be sine. So we're going to use sine, the angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And there's the equation. From there, it's just solving. We did realize if this is a number on the bottom, normally we would just multiply both sides. Here's our trick, so to speak, is if the x is in the denominator, we're going to simply switch this. So x is equal to 10 divided by the sine of 28. And then we're going to put it in our calculator, like so. So we're going to go 10 divided by 28 sine equals. Now we get 21.3. And you're done. So in the calculator, this looks like 10 divided by the angle, sine, and then you have to equals. And you're done. There's no A because, well, I labeled the A, but there was no A value given to us in the problem. We were only given the opposite and the hypotenuse. Now, sometimes we'll be asked to find it and it'll be a Y. And in that case, we have to find both X and Y. So there's like 2 problems in one. But yeah, we just weren't given an A. Okay, let's go over a couple more. Okay, so across from my angle, it's going to be opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Now, which 2 values am I given? Which 2 letters? Okay, yep, H and A. Which trig ratio, sine, cosine, or tangent uses an H and an A? Good. Good. Okay, good. Awesome. So a few of you are getting it. I know a few of you got it really well on Friday, so I appreciate that. But a few of you were absent, and so on. Okay, so we have cosine, we have ka, a and an h. So we have the cosine of our angle is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. We're going to put this in our calculator. We're going to find the cosine of 70. So 70 cosine 0.3420 is equal to x over 19. Yeah, Tanner, if you got this one, that absolutely, that's fine. So now, in order to get rid of a divide by, we're going to multiply both sides by 19. So I can leave that in my calculator and hit times 19 equals, I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth, so 6.5. 6.5 equals x. So when we find sides, we're going to round to the nearest tenth. When we're finding decimals, we round to the four digits. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do a tangent. Anybody have one in particular they want to see? Or do you want me to just, yeah, this is from Friday's worksheet. But I'm going to go over a couple different worksheets. People had questions, and then I'll also take a few from today's. There is a worksheet posted on special triangles. You're not sure which one, you can look at it. Okay, so let me go back to. Let's do number 12.
I think we already did that.
Yeah. Okay, so we are reviewing right now. I'm going over the worksheet from Friday, and then we're going to go over a couple other questions that students had. And there is a new worksheet that's posted. It's a review from special triangles. We're also going to go over. Okay. Okay, so labeling, which parts do I have? Do I have A and H, O and H, O and A? What do I have? Put it in the chat box. Especially if you haven't been getting this. What do I have? Good. Good. So which trig function am I going to use with that? So you know where to put the O because it's the side opposite the angle. That's how you know where to put the O. That's where to put the O. And then from there, we know where to put the hypotenuse because it's always the slanted one. And that side that's touching the angle, will be your A. Okay. So we are given, we're not given a hypotenuse, we're given an O and an A, which would be tangent. So we have the tangent of the angle. You must write the angle next to the tangent. Don't just give me random tangent equals. Okay. Opposite over adjacent. Only because the x is in the bottom, we're going to switch it. So x is equal to 18 divided by tangent of 37. And now it starts to print. But 20 minutes later. And we'll put that in the calculator. So we're going to go 18 divided by 37, hit tangent, and then you must hit the equals. I'm going to round it to 23.9. Okay. So put in the chat box if you want to see me do any other ones, or if you feel like you have a good handle on that. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to a different assignment. Or you can put I'm good. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to select one more and then put the final answer in the chat box. Just want to see who's getting it. Okay, number 16. Put the final answer in the chat box. And then we'll move on. Okay. So go ahead and do this one. Label it. First put in the chat box which trig ratio you're going to use. That way I know everybody's on the right track. But which trig ratio you're going to use. Okay. And then you can work it out and put the final answer. All right. So some of you were on the right track. Here's my opposite. Here's my hypotenuse, and there's my adjacent. So when I have an answer like 22 over x in the chat box, it's like that doesn't make sense yet, because what we need to identify first is which trig ratio. So looking at TOA. Am I using sine, cosine, or tangent? Well, I don't have a value for my O, so let's cross that out. I have an A and an H. Let me go over here and I go A and H is cosine. Okay, so we know it's cosine. Cosine, and then the angle goes next to it. The angle is 22. Is equal to, it's the A on top and H on the bottom. So A on top and H on the bottom. And you're ready to go. Did that help? It's always the trig function, the angle equals our letter over letter. Okay, so it's trig function, sine, cosine, or tangent, the angle equals letter over letter. That's our format. Anything other than that is unacceptable. Okay, so now we put it in the calculator. The numbers on the bottom. So I'm going to go 22 cosine, 22 cosine. And then to get rid of a divide by, I'm going to hit times 11 equals. And I'm going to get 10.2. 10.2. And you're done. Okay, so please put in the chat box. So you're going to identify which trig ratio and then write the whole equation and then solve it. The key to unlock this problem is labeling your triangle. So wherever your angle is, okay, wherever your angle is, you're going to draw an arrow across. So here's my angle. Please draw an arrow across to the opposite side, and you're going to land at 11. Okay, that's what you're going to label O. That's my opposite. O for opposite. The hypotenuse is this slanted one. See, these sides are horizontal and vertical. The one that joins them is always the hypotenuse. And then you can do process of elimination. This one is A for adjacent. A is actually the side that touches the angle. Okay. If you can't see the O, the A, and the H, you're not going to be able to get the problem. Because some of you are still thinking that you have a hypotenuse and you don't. Okay. So put it in the chat box. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon. You're really close, James. We do have the hypotenuse, but if you look at the angle of 16, across from that is our opposite. So yes, Cruz, that's the one. Okay, so this is going to be our opposite. So here's our angle. We have an O, and we have an H, and our A is gone. Yep, so it's sine. We write sin, but it would call it sine. Good. Nice. Okay, so let's write the equation. Let's write the equation. So the key was breaking the triangle away from the other part of the picture so we can solve for x. So we can go 6 squared, 36, plus 8 squared is 64, equals x squared. Add these together, get 100, equals x squared. How do we undo a square?
Divided by x.
Close. The opposite of a square wouldn't be divide, it would be square root. Okay. So what's the square root of 100? What times itself would give you 100?
10.
10. Okay. So 10 equals x. Okay. So did that help? Okay. Good. Jenna, is there anything else that you wanted to see on that? Okay, here's assignment number 11. What I need you to write down, if you didn't get this before, and I'm going to open up the quiz, which is assignment number 7 this week, so that you can take it this week and over the weekend. So labeling your triangle, 45, 45. Let's do this, 45, 45, 90. Okay, so if these are 45 degrees, this is, yeah. Yes, I'll go ahead and post the notes as well. But it might be more so in the form of, it's not really notes, it's homework assignment. So it might be more in the, like a video, but you can just fast forward it too. Thank you, James. Okay. So labeling, I have in, and en route 2. Go through and do the easy ones, okay? Which means if you know that one side is a number, the other side is the same number. Don't make that one harder. Don't overthink it. So on number 1, let's label in, oops, sorry. So this is in, and then 2. In, and root 2. In, and root 2. Okay. So what does that make? If this side is 4, what's the other side going to be?
Four.
4, because they're equal. Notice the ends are having same thing in common. This one, and this one, they're all the same end. Okay, so n is equal to 4. So this side is 4, This side is 4. And whatever n is, we're going to put it right here. And we're just going to write 4 root 2 and you're done. Okay. So on number 2, tell me what is the other side and what is the hypotenuse? What is this other side in and what is the hypotenuse? Good. Okay. Kayla's got it. That's just in there. Good. We've got the other side. So what would the hypotenuse look like? Okay. So some of you at least got, if this side is 2, you know that this side is 2. Perfect. Take that number and plug it in right there. You're going to have a 2 with a root 2 next to it, and you're done. Remember, this is where I was getting a little silly last time, and I'm like, okay, if n is a giraffe, this is a giraffe, that's a giraffe, and that's a giraffe root 2. Whatever it was, just write a root 2 next to it, and you're done. Sometimes you have to simplify it. Like on number 3, okay, this whole thing, I know it's tricky because we see a root 2 there and we want to call it 4, but it's not. This whole thing is in because it's on the side. And if this side is in, that side is in. They're equal. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this 4 root 2 and we're going to plug it in over here. So 4 root 2 times root 2. Remember, we multiply inside numbers together. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. And 4 times 2 is 8. Try number 5. I'm going to do in, and in root 2. Put in the chat box, what is the other leg and what's the hypotenuse? Put in the leg and the hypotenuse. Number 5. Okay, a few people have it. If you can't get the hypotenuse, at least tell me what is the other leg. Good. Okay, so we have the leg. Now take that same number because that's in and plug it in for in on the other, on the slanted one, and there's your, good, good. Nice. I can tell some of you are finally getting it, and that needs to be a good feeling. I'm glad. Okay. So if this is 3, this is 3, which makes this 3 root 2, and you're done. Okay. Try number 8. What I want you to see is, let's make sure you can do the easy ones and then try the harder ones. Okay? So we have in root 2. So look and see, can you look at number 8 at the hypotenuse and tell me what in would be? Good. Michaela's got it. So do the comparison. So that's why we labeled it. If this is a 3 root 2 and this is an in root 2, those two root 2's look the same, right? So we're gonna like, oh, well, this looks the same as that. So n must be 3. There you go. N is 3. And if this side's 3, this side's 3. Okay, number 9, and we'll call it done for today. We will pick up tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Friday. Not Friday either. I'm so lost. Okay, Thursday, because we'll meet again on Thursday. We'll do some more of this. Okay, let's try number 9 real quick, and then I'll let you go. So in root 2. Put in the chat box. What is in? What is in? Okay. Michaela's got it. Good. Jenna's got it. Avicennia, good. Nice. Ray's got it. I need my other peeps.